All right, you idiots. We're finally back.
It's been a minute.
We slotted in a 10-minute schedule or into our busy lives. I don't do anything. I'm literally just sitting at home. Nima's the busy guy. But I guess dude, we're back we're in the thick of it now. We're going into week 6. What do you say, Commish?
We are, well, you made our only first round draft pick trade because our deadline is this, of course, this week for the first and second round picks. And how's that worked out for you?
I mean,
How do you
I still
feel
don't
about it?
hate
How do you feel about it right now?
I still don't hate it.
Hmm.
I'm a little bit pissed that the week I got him was just like a a real shitty week by my other players.
Yeah.
Um, I don't I don't feel as bad as I thought I would, but I'm still like if I make a trade, there's probably going to be draft pick something tagged to it because I feel like I need to recoup something. But seeing how the first round picks have performed this year, I don't feel as bad as I thought I would.
Right? I thought the same thing. I'm like, I don't even want first round picks. I feel like you're paying so much for it and you're not getting the same value out of it. Those like third and fourth round picks that people got are getting better value than the first round pick. The first McCaffrey is a dud. I have Allen, he's okay. Mahomes is not a first round pick.
Oh my
Tyreek
God.
Tyreek Hill is not a first round pick. Brees Hall is not a first round pick.
Dude,
Like,
the Christian McCaffrey saga is one that will live in absolute horror lore of all fantasy cautionary tales ever.
I was so close because I had first round. I'm in two leagues. I'm in me. I'm in Wong has a league that I'm in with the work people, but I had the first pick in both leagues. I'm like, do I really take Allen in both leagues?
Yeah,
Like, I'll take Allen and I'll take McCaffrey. I'm like, no, it doesn't. I'm like, too much. I'll take Allen. I'll take Allen, and it's not like the best choice, but
right.
better than McCaffrey at this point. Lamar, I guess, is
Dude,
the best choice, but I wasn't ready to go there. But yeah.
dude, it's crazy. I'll share my screen. I'm gonna share my second one. Um, is there like work being done at your house?
Yeah, they're almost done. It's okay.
Oh, it's fine. It's fine.
Yeah,
I
it's fine.
just wanted to make sure I wasn't hearing
No,
things
no, no.
or
It's
sound clipping. By the
no,
way, everyone, if you're listening, if the sound's bad, we'll fix it for the next one. I apologize because it's probably my fault. But I think you can see the screen here, and I was gonna pull up the draft, and I think what we need to go through is, I mean, there can't be a worse. Honestly, there can't be a worse pick because he hasn't played. But is this up there as the worst pick?
I mean, his team because he had so many third round picks. Devin got lucky and he has some bounce back from it, but that's a rough pick. I mean, he's not. I don't think he'll ever go that high ever again, personally.
Oh man, I took him in another league and I didn't want to, but I'm just like, he's there. I'll go for it. I'll give it a shot. I'll root for him. Dude blows. God, he
Yeah.
just doesn't do anything. Like, and then he got hurt again, and now you don't know if it's gonna be multi-week. Ugh.
Every week, yeah,
Um,
rocks. That
but I
was a
mean,
tough game.
this what a story here.
Yeah, I mean that kind of. I thought that was a big reach, but and then you have Wong took Jaden Daniels with the ninth pick right there.
Oh,
That was I
he
thought that was
is
a really
such a stud.
yeah.
I think he's playing the way we thought this was gonna pan out.
That's fair. That's pretty fair. Yeah, that's pretty
Um,
fair.
he's been awful.
I mean, we all have some.
Horrible situation.
Yeah,
He's had a good week or two, but it hasn't been great. Stroud's underperformed. I mean, it's just the list goes on and on in terms of the first two rounds are just a shit show,
yeah.
and all the points are coming from later. I mean, you look at what just happened, and I mean, I know that Pacheco got hurt, but like Kyron's been blowing up. Fucking Etienne sucks too. God,
Thanks,
on
Bigsby.
paper, my team sucks. Nobody's playing. Like he's
Yeah,
in
but
a
on paper, you
contract or
have
he's in a
all the
team
names.
dispute.
Yeah,
But but yeah, I mean, everything is coming from rounds 3 through 6, which is why I'm like not sweating the not having a first round pick next year.
interesting, interesting, interesting. All right.
I say that now, but if I miss the playoffs and I don't like pick up some more picks through trade, like it'll feel really, really shitty when we're there and the draft's like starting and it's gonna like it'll go into my mindset of where do I want to pick because like everything comes into play based off of the fact that Jordan will have 2 picks.
Why don't we go when we start from the bottom and we'll visit Amir's team and we'll kind of run through the teams and then we'll do a short little breakdown of where we're at in the league and then see where that gets us.
Let's do it.
So Amir, poor
Starting
Amir,
from the bottom
start from the
and
bottom. He had some rough losses. I know I beat him one time where he scored 220 points and lost.
he
Rough.
scored 212.
Yeah, and lost. So he's been in some tight spots. Team is not horrible, but he's got Brees Hall's underperformed. Rogers hasn't done much. Uh,
Dude,
AJ Brown hasn't done much.
the
Oh,
savior of his team. Who would have thought it's
yeah,
Sam Darnold?
but he had 5 points last week and he killed them. He killed them. He would if he would have started. I don't know who the option was, but started them, he would have won. But yeah, Trevor Lawrence. He would have started Trevor Lawrence. He would have won.
No, man. But at that point, you can't. I mean, you might be able to hear it because Minnesota's defense has been so
Yeah,
elite. You might have been able to justify, but what? I mean, it was still probably a tight race. I don't know. That's just shitty.
yeah.
Well,
So I mean, yeah, he's scoring points. Team's not that bad, but 0-5 is 0-5. So is he looking at draft pick trades? I mean, I don't know. It's tough. It's a tough situation.
it's true. I mean, 0-5, it has been done where you squeak in, and like if Hall starts performing, you might get there, but it's an uphill climb right now.
It's an uphill climb. It's not a good situation. It's for a
All
Jordan
right,
graveyard team. So this is
all
our
right.
Christian McCaffrey loser,
And
and Tua.
he's still holding on to Chubb too. I mean, he's gotten hit very hard.
Yeah, Herbert got hurt too with the high ankle sprain, and Watson hasn't played. I don't think
He
he's not.
played like 2 games, and then
Yeah,
in his third game, he got hurt.
yeah, not great. I mean, Jordan also gave up though. He traded Chase. He's going for next year. Jordan only plays once every 2 years. He gives up and gets first round picks and he comes back. So
It's true. It's
God
the
bless him.
truth.
God bless.
And now Carr's dinged up, and I don't know who he play. Of course, plays Devin this week, right?
Yeah, Devin's team.
Um,
Devin's team is interesting too, but we'll keep going through our thing. But I mean, he doesn't really. I mean, Carr and Shaheed kind of carried him a little bit, but those two, they're gone. Mike Evans is okay. Chase Brown's a good pickup. Kelsey's not Kelsey anymore, so it's dire straits over there for our favorite islands. Actually, not anymore. Our favorite Agora high school football coach.
feels feels like a free space
There you go.
when you get to play him if you get to play him in this condition. Shaheed's probably been the most tremendous value right here, and Diggs is due for kind of a bigger role with Collins out. But man, this will probably be his best player by the end of the season. I'm sorry.
Would you? Would you make if you were, let's say you were Jose and you had your 5-0, would you make a move for McCaffrey?
No, I mean,
Yeah.
there's the talk out of 49ers camp is like they're looking at week 10,
Yeah.
and you figure a couple games to get up to speed. You don't a if I mean I know Josh has started 5-0, but if let's say you're counting on those weeks for a bye or something, and then he's not getting there, you're basically forced to start him in the playoffs, and you don't know exactly what he's going to be. He might be up to speed, he might not, but there's no guarantee like that he plays this season.
No, there's not. Because if they suck, they're not gonna bring him back.
And so, I mean, if this week passes and Jordan's willing to give up like one of his like I don't know, like a fifth or seventh rounder or something, sure, maybe it's worth a speculative ad just based off the fact that he might be 6-0. But dude, it's way too dicey when you play a weekly game to commit that much time to someone maybe coming back.
Can we talk about the fact that it's not skipping me? We'll get to me. But the fact that on Jose's team, he's only had 697 points scored on him, and the next closest is 880.
Must be nice when you're always playing from ahead. In his defense, he did just put up
he has
277
the
and
he
got,
scored the
got the
most points,
bonus.
no argument. But that's a deadly combo: most points and least points scored against by
Like
180.
I don't mean to like put our own names in there, but like right here, we're in a dogfight every single week.
Yeah, essentially. Yeah,
And it's the nature of the beast. I mean, you never know. I mean, he is putting up crazy points, but he's not getting challenged.
yeah. It's a good.
So,
Let's go to my
the,
stupid team. The
well,
team
you
can't
you
figure out what
made
it is.
you made some moves, and I think you picked up at that point the best player in the trade. um, looks like Madison might have taken over the backfield, and like you've got some RB1 boost like on their team,
Yeah.
but man, just the underperformances, and like Keenan wasn't playing, and Jacobs probably carried you for the first couple weeks, but he's kind of tailed off. And like how are you feeling right now
I
is the
don't feel
most important
great.
question.
I don't feel great about it. I don't know what I'm getting from my team every week. Like Caleb Williams is a question mark. Josh Allen's been a question mark. Jerry Wilson's has first good game. Keenan Allen's not has been non-existent.
Yeah.
It's been I've had 2 weeks where I've scored a lot of points. Like that one week I scored 255 or something like that. I got that was great. Juwan Jennings 52 points. Already that was whatever. But I
Right.
don't feel great. Like if someone offered me a trade for Allen that made sense, like draft pick trade, I would consider it. I don't know if this is a great team or not. I think I've just won some games, if that makes sense.
It does. I mean, Goddard, it seems like you have random players blowing up that help you stay competitive or win the week that you wouldn't expect them to that particular week. Like when you when you I think you won a couple weeks ago or whatever it was, and like Swift blew up. Like he
Yeah,
was borderline droppable at that
I
point.
was very close to dropping. Yeah, I was
Yeah.
very close. Yeah,
And now every article is like trade for DeAndre Swift, like blah blah blah. He's taking a hold of his backfield. It's just like,
I
dude,
started Roshan Johnson his biggest week. The big had a big week. I started Roshan Johnson because I thought he's gonna lose his job.
but you've always been good for those like for being savvy on the wire, and like that's what it boils down to. You probably had some stinkers that nobody's paid attention to, but like you got to absolutely hate this. Like
I
there's
traded for him.
no
I
it
traded for
seems
him
like
though.
there's nobody understands what's happening.
Yeah,
Like he's running routes and he's not getting thrown the ball because he's bad, because he's not open. Like nobody fully gets it, but he's realistically looking at your players like he's probably your next drop, and you're gonna find someone else who's got a juicy matchup, and you're always gonna be competitive, which is the great thing. So, but you're right. You lack like a true person who's just like, oh, thank God I have him right now.
yeah. I have no idea what I'm getting each week from somebody. I have no idea. So like
Feels good.
but I felt like that trade I made was kind of gross on a lot of accounts. And two players from it, one from my team, Jameer. I dropped Jameer White, and Phil and Armin dropped Juwan Jennings. So two players are already gone.
Yeah.
But I like getting Scary Terry, and they got Cup, but Cup's a couple weeks out at least. And I need to win some games, so I just took it.
Hmm.
Yeah,
I mean, when you got to make moves now, you just gotta cut bait with people as much as like I'm sure where you took him, you're probably so high on Cup. I think even in our mock drafts, he was always a round or two higher for you. And then in the actual draft itself, I think you took him. When I was hoping to get him later, I'm like, God, that was his guy this year. That was his guy.
I actually traded for him in Wong's league. I traded Sam Darnold for him, so I still have him
Mm,
somewhere. So he's still there. Let's see this
there you go.
Booyah guy.
So
I
I
actually
I
kind of like his
know
team, to be honest with you. I like his quarterbacks. I like his running back. I'm not a huge Bijan fan, but Alvin's been great.
the
Brian Robinson's good too.
you can't help but feel that the law of averages will start to prevail for Pacha's team. I mean, like you go up against the Kirk Cousins show, and you can't. There's nothing you can do about that. Like
Yeah.
one performance out of the week, I mean, it's shitty, but like Nobody saw that coming. I dropped him in another league like this week, and he blows up like that. Um, but Olave is underperforming, and now there's quarterback issues. Deontay's probably gonna be okay, but yeah, you just like what? Why is he not why is he not more of a workhorse? Like how if you don't make the playoffs, how can you save a player for the playoffs like the Falcons might be trying to do?
I had him last year. They just don't use him a lot for whatever. And Algier takes a lot of carries. So what can you do? DJ Moore's picking it up. I drafted Firemouth and dropped him. He's doing all right. I mean, he's got running backs. He's got Robinson. He's got Harris. He's got Eckler. He has Algier. Jonathan Brooks. He needs a receiver. He needs to make a move for a receiver.
Yeah, I mean
Personally.
it sucks that Harrison has been so inconsistent. When you had that one week, I'm sure
Yeah.
everyone thought, "Oh, yep, there here comes my value." But yeah, receiver is struggling here. He's got solidified backfields, so he doesn't need to necessarily do anything different there. But yeah, I mean, when I played against him, Fields was the difference. And this has been another one of the storylines that the NFL is, put in front of us. But holy shit, he has been producing when he needs to, even though it's nothing special. He just always seems to put up close to 30, and it's like because of his rushing.
Yep. I agree. I agree.
Oh, man. Yeah, this
I like
he'll
his
be
team.
right there in the end. He
I
always
like his
is.
team. I like his team better than my team. If you ask me personally, I think he's
I
got
do too.
more. He has a higher. Yeah, he has a higher ceiling. So what can you say? So we go David, who also has had a little bit of bad luck because Tyreek Hill, he got, basically like taken out. Saquon's been helping him out. I like his running backs. He lost Nico. So his receivers are taking quite a hit. Lost Zach Moss this week. But quarterbacks are good. Burrow is playing much better than I thought he was going to. So I think David's team is maybe need a little bit of work, but I like where it's at. And he scores points.
I do too. I mean, he's always this team strikes me as a team that's always going to be right around 200 every week. And
Mm-hmm.
it's like you have a couple of like 30 to 40 point performances and you get to 200, you're feeling pretty good, like a fighting chance every single week. And like Tolbert, we'll see, but yeah, wideouts took a massive hit, and now Tyreek's on bye. Maybe they can figure it out. But like his quarterbacks should always be putting up points. Like Walker had that monster week, but this guy is. Would he be the
Agree.
consensus number one
I think
based
it's
off
him
of?
or Henry. Him or Henry.
You think Henry?
Yeah, I like Henry's been solid too.
I feel like
Henry has similar numbers. It's not that far off.
minus the receiving threat though.
Just going by points. Henry's been the same. You're right. The receiving that's better, but Henry's had the same amount of points. It's one of the two guys. It's either Henry or Saquon. Probably Saquon. You're probably right, but I think it's like a 1A 1B situation.
You're right.
Yeah.
I tried to send David, and I don't know how much he pays attention. I think he's on the East Coast, right?
Yeah, he is. Yeah.
I sent him Adams for Hill, and I tried to say like, oh, two upside coin toss, things, and like immediately he rejected it. Like,
There's one for
well,
that. Yeah.
now I put the feelers out. By the way, if remember, a trade offer is only an opportunity to a conversation. So you can always just reject it. That's fine. But if you have some interest to make some moves, just counter, fire back. And that's the only times I've really found the middle ground in trading is when I don't just reject it. Sometimes I'll counter for something stupid. And then they'll be like, okay, I'm actually good with this better player, but
Yeah.
now I want a better player. And then you're like, I can actually part with this guy. And so remember, it's just an invitation to a conversation.
100%. I had the same argument with my Howard Wongler trade. He texted me and polished, what the hell is this? I'm like, it's almost as if I wanted the trade to work in my favor. And I was trying to start a negotiation with you. Like, just negotiate. Counter me back. Let's see what we can do. I mean, I went back and forth with Phil and Armin a bunch before we landed on that trade. So,
Yeah.
just keep the conversation.
Everyone wants to feel like they came out way ahead on the trade. But remember, even like a marginal improvement is still improvement,
Yeah.
and it's all subjective. I mean, two of the players that you traded for could get hurt, or one of them could become a perennial all-star. Like you never truly know, but you never know unless you just keep going.
I may have offered Phil and Armin a lot for Rashay Rice, and it just kept saying no. And, maybe they should have done that trade in their in their heads now.
they, we were talking and like there was a deal where they wanted Amon Ra, and I'm like, if Amon Ra's involved, like I need like Reishi to be involved, and like
Yeah,
no, like no chance. And now it's like, oh well, I would have been dead. Like
yeah,
I'm glad it didn't work out, but you
exactly.
can never know. Like the same thing could happen to any one of our players in any moment.
Yeah. Let's go to the next. Who's
All
next?
right, your boy,
It's you.
who was it? I think Pasha was texting me. He's just like, dude, you're 0 for you're 1-4. Is it time for a name change? I'm like, I don't know if I could part with this name. This is my longest tenured name.
It's been a
I think I
long time.
changed it after contributions,
Yeah,
and it's been the same thing ever since.
I would stick with it. You mean you use the John Bailey draft mechanism, draft board, all the receivers. So,
I did. I have them all now.
and then you spent a lot of money on Kareem Hunt. Like you wanted Kareem Hunt.
I
So he does.
did, but I wasn't that far ahead. That those situations, you either lose it. I feel like you either lose it by $3 and you're pissed at yourself, or you win it by $34 and you're like, damn it, why did I do that? Like I was gonna go big on Tank Bigsby, but I'm like, no, like this is what I'm comfortable putting out there. And then it was like $3 more won it. I'm like, no.
Yeah, yeah.
But I like in a PPR format, I think it's just a matter of time before this team like fully unlocks. And I still feel good about it. I hate that I'm 2-3, but if Adams goes somewhere with a viable quarterback, he's automatically going to be better, which means I don't have to worry about a flex spot. The only thing I'm worried about is if McCaffrey comes back, Mason's production obviously becomes zero. I've kind of filled in my drafting of running backs was terrible. So I'm trying to trade for like a running back quarterback combo or something like that for one of the receivers I got and see if I can solidify some more depth. But right now, like Etienne is basically like Rashad White, and I
He's gonna lose
hate
his
him.
job. Yeah,
He's
he
so
loses.
bad,
Yeah.
and it I don't know what I'm getting any given week, and it's frustrating. But like next week, I have all three big guns are going, and I'm hoping Adams gets traded and this hamstring issue is done. But I don't feel bad about this team. And dude, you gotta love the last round Baker Mayfield pick. I
Oh,
mean,
he's killing it,
been
dude. I think quarterback is going to be totally different next year for drafting. I think we're going to have more position players taken in the first round next year, and quarterback's going to fall because I don't think the value is there anymore. These guys aren't throwing 300, 400, 500 yards anymore. A lot of it's less. It's like 20, 25 points for each quarterback. Go look at Mahomes. Mahomes is
oh
like
yeah,
is not doing anything. So
Mahomes just worried about winning games.
yeah, I wouldn't take Mahomes anywhere near the first like 2, 3 rounds now because he's not scoring points. So
Yeah,
I think the strategy's changed. More good
that's
quarterback.
a hot take, and like
Yeah.
that's why I went in with that mentality of like I know I'm going to take Baker Mayfield close to last, like
Yeah.
wherever that number is, I don't know, but he's going to be one of my last picks, and because I know that everything else is way more valuable. I didn't intend to draft these guys.
Yeah.
I didn't intend to give my first round pick away for Jamar Chase, but it just presented itself like right before he exploded, and now it's like, dude, Chase, Jefferson, Amon Ra, I feel good about it every single week. So we will see, but if
We
any of
will
them
see.
get hurt, like obviously, fucked.
Now we're going to the cream of the crop. Let's see what these guys are doing.
The top of
So
the table.
top of the table. So this guy's a lot of action. Man, there's a lot of action right now in our league. A lot of Jordan's making some moves. Um, I think it's a work in progress. I don't really have a feeling one way or the other about this team. They're not really like heavy on any position specifically. Probably quarterback with Dak and Hurts, but Hurts hasn't been anything crazy special. So
Yeah.
it's kind of a team in flux. I mean, I think they could easily be a 2-3 team. You know what I mean? Like nothing.
Yeah.
So I don't really have a feeling about it. It's just kind of there. Kind of like my team, to be honest.
I feel like they've maybe benefited from not too many points getting scored against them. And they made the trade. They have solid quarterbacks, but like Hurts is underperformed. Higgins has started to come around, but he wasn't there. Smith still, I guess he's still questionable. He'll probably
They
play this
lost
week.
Rice. They lost
But
Rice.
huge,
Big thing,
huge
yeah.
running back question marks right here. That probably needs to be their next move. And you're right. I feel very blah about this team in terms of just looking at it and the players. But
I
it's above 500, so who cares?
take it. Let's go. Cock meat sandwich time.
Still a winning name in my book. Gino.
So Gino's been good. His quarterbacks are really probably has the best quarterback combo in the league because Murray and Gino have both been throwing points out like crazy. His
Hmm.
Dolphins have hurt him, but Cook is good. Neighbors was a great pick. I think that was a bet. Jameson Williams was a great pick. So again, some question marks, but he's made some good picks, and I mean he had extra third round picks, so I hope he would. Um, again, another team kind of in flux a little bit because Richardson didn't work out, Pacheco and Puka, so it's kind of like he has some stuff to work out. But the team overall has the two quarterbacks, James Cook. I think he'll be okay.
I think it will too. And obviously, if Miami figures it out, it'll be really formidable and really scary. Probably the best value here. I mean, Jameson Williams has like, I mean, he went from like 2 catches for 9 yards a game to,
Yeah,
basically taking all of Laporta's stats from last
Laporta
year.
is
So
yeah.
So yeah, they've obviously figured out a game plan change around him. Neighbors, I mean, he was high on him in the mocks. Like you knew he was going to get him one way or another. And now Tank Dell has an opportunity to be kind of the de facto guy there with Collins out. I mean, yeah, this team could get really scary, um, especially if the Dolphins guys figure their shit out. But sucks to lose like 2 of your first 5 picks. That always feels shitty. But the team's still afloat. Team still got depth and is strong.
Still lives. No, it's not bad. It's not bad.
Wong. Ugh. What could have been for so many of us. I mean, this team is 2 players, but those 2 players are winning the week.
Yes.
I mean, it helps when you don't get scored a ton against, but it's not like that egregious.
And
And so,
Brian
I
Thomas
mean,
was a great pick too.
which one?
Brian Thomas, the Jags receiver, was a great pick too. See, look, those are very similar to what Saquon was putting up. Like it's not that
It's
far
true.
off. Yeah.
I mean, it's true. And like that 200-yard game, 200+ yard game with multiple touchdowns. I mean, that's a week winner right there. Bowers has been really nice. I know it's kind of gone under the radar, but I think he's got to be close to just the tight end target leader and like tight end. He's got to be in the top 2.
He
Um,
lost Pittman today. So we'll see about that.
bye bye Pitt.
Yeah, he got hurt.
Oh, that's a bummer.
Yeah.
So that's gonna sting, but that hasn't
Aaron
been
Jones
making
been
or
great.
breaking his
Yeah.
weeks. Like you can find someone comparable on the waiver wire probably. Um, oh boy, start my boy Danny Dimes. Woo! Love
Gross.
love when
That's
you have to
gross.
start Danny.
It's gross.
Whenever whenever you have to start him, he's always the worst.
Because
And
look at all the buys coming in too. All the buys, not to interrupt, sorry, but the buys make a huge difference now every week. Like people have to make moves and that they don't want to make. That's the short bench comes in, all that stuff comes in. So it's gonna get interesting now.
the short bench will forever be the X factor. Like you
Yeah.
drop people and it stings so bad to have to let them go. Like I can't even describe, but yeah, I mean the Seattle wide receivers, they'll be fine. This team will be good. If Thomas continues his breakout, like this team is top 4 for sure, just based off of how the league is shaping up right now.
I agree.
Because with Mahomes and Daniels, you feel like you have one of the most solid floors out there. So
I regret not taking. I was between Garrett Wilson and Derrick Henry, and I made the wrong choice.
always comes back.
Yeah,
And
and let's go to
finally,
this. We were already kind of here.
stupid Josh riding the coattails of everyone else underperforming slash Lamar and Kirk's unbelievable
Yeah,
last week. Wow, that was something special. But
yeah,
I mean, when Lamb's contract was resolved, that became automatic, like a huge steal because he basically he basically picked up 2 first-round picks because
yeah.
everyone else was scared to pull the trigger.
That's a great. That's fair. Yeah,
Then he basically went zero RB strategy, and it's 100% paying off. Like I dropped Javante at his lowest, and now he's taken over the backfield. Montgomery's been a stud, um, and like Reed has panned out, and obviously he got the monster, massive, huge dick week from
Kirk.
Kirk after all this crap, and so the team is good. It's just not a lot of depth. So like when bye weeks start hitting, the running back lack of depth is going to really be prominent. So he's gonna be kind of fighting, to keep above water if his receivers aren't panning out that particular week.
I agree. I agree.
But I mean, it's a good looking team. If you just look at these guys up here, you're like, I don't want to play against that. Like
You know what's
I
interesting? Because both last year and this year we had teams that had a lot of extra draft picks. Okay, and I feel like last year you could see that Wong and Jordan had like these extra players. This year, as they had the draft picks, but I don't think the teams are that different from each other for whatever reason or whatever. You don't see the difference as far as the
That's a
team
good point.
that had
I
the extra
mean,
draft
I
picks.
think Jordan last year when he had his three first rounders, we joked that like, oh, like you totally screwed that up, but on paper it still looked pretty great.
Yeah,
But you're right, there wasn't that real separation where someone really leapfrogged everyone else because they had that extra pick in that particular round, whatever it was. You're right.
yep, yep.
It's very astute stuff right there, Mr. Commish.
Thank you. Well, pay attention. So that's all 10 teams. It's all 10 teams. We went through it. I feel like, the only team I don't see how Amir comes back. I wish him the best. I think he made a run before too, but I think his team is kind of draft pick trade worthy. But if not, everything else is kind of still alive.
Let's see where current projections stand. Oh,
Andy,
okay.
take the reins for a second, Andy. I got to pay. Hold on one second. Take the reins.
Yeah.
Go.
By the way, for everyone else, I'm really hoping that the screen share actually populates when I post this to YouTube. If not, you can just dismiss this episode completely unless I can just post it to audio and then maybe we'll start like a Spotify channel for this shit. Um, but looking at the projections, I mean, I know that on draft day it was very different, but I mean, they got it decently, right? It's not horrible. Current projections, there's no way that that happens. I think Josh is looking at maybe like a two-loss season based off of how other people are lack of performing against him. Um, you gotta find some hope here in this. Look at this. They're saying 5-9 for Amir starting 0-5. Look, you never know in this league what is going to happen. Jordan making the playoffs and then having two first rounders. I mean, you just never freaking know. It's just about staying active and staying consistent so that you have a fighting chance every single week. It's always the weeks that I'm like out with the kids or out like and not paying attention and I miss like one pickup or I come up $2 short on a free agent bid. And those are the weeks I lose just barely. I'm just like, damn it. That could be the difference. So remember that every freaking week matters because someone might have a letdown and you just want to be there to take advantage of it. Um, by the way, I did update my trading block.
I'm
I do
back.
have
Sorry. I'm
40-yard
back. Sorry.
receiving touchdowns available to give as my stat of choice. But yeah, Neems, all I did was I did current projections. I said that there's no way that these things hold up in terms of, well, whatever. Um, I don't think it's going to end up like this and shake out like this. But if we look at these matchups, like there's some there's some pretty big swing games here, and obviously, if a loss hits Jose, and then all of a sudden you're you're looking at a bunch of 3-3 slash like 4-2 teams, dude, that's always how things shake out here. And then at the end, it does become how many points you've put up, right? That's like the biggest tiebreaker.
I totally agree. Yeah.
And that's why like you can't take it easy ever in this league with there's more activity on the waiver in this league than any other league I play in. Like it's plain and simple. And it's just because you have to be. You get a piece of news and like people will read either too far into it. Like I've already considered picking up Dalvin Cook. You just never know when that's going to benefit you, but like you also have to be very aware. Like for last week, Tyrone Tracy, like that was to me that was a big pickup for me because I was just paying attention to what was happening.
Yep. No, it's about paying attention and knowing. But like right now, Phil and Armin have $19 left. Is that going to come into effect later on? Like $19 is not a lot for another 8 weeks of football. Like they really can't go get anybody.
It's true. I'm right on that cusp where I think I've got 38. Yeah.
Yeah,
And it doesn't feel good, but like I knew I had a hole at running back, and with what I was reading, what I was seeing, it was just like be aggressive on this because I want to have a Hunt back.
yeah,
I need running back help. So like I know that people if did someone go after Isaiah Likely really aggressively?
yeah. That's Phil Armor. That's why they spent a lot of their money on Isaiah Likely first
So
week.
you never know how it's going to pan out in that regard, but like you make a move that you think is going to benefit you as much as possible, and like he was dropped 2 weeks later, I think. But I think it's kind of that old adage, you can't be afraid to cut bait in this league because likely, but well, it's more often than not that person will come back to you. Like that was one of the hardest things about dropping Spears for me was like I traded for this guy, I traded someone for this guy, and I don't want to drop him, but he's on bye week, but I have to do this. But he was like a boomerang, and he came back to me because you just stay diligent with the wire.
Yep, I agree. I agree.
All right, so who who in the bottom five is most likely to make a playoff run based off of what you've seen?
Caution's team is the best team, I think.
I agree. I think from top to bottom, there's too much depth to keep his team down.
Yeah, I think he goes in. I think I think one or two of your top four teams might not make the playoffs. I'm just saying. I think maybe between Dak and Devin, one or both of those teams don't make the playoffs.
I would love that. That would be tremendous.
I think Jordan's out. I think because Jordan's team just doesn't have the gas. I think Amir's too far behind, so that's two spots out. So then you're talking about two more spots. People would miss the playoffs. I don't think my team is that strong, but we'll hope for the best. So maybe that's one of the spots. And I think one of those two teams, I think your team, David's team, and Pasha's team, the three of you guys are better than Devin and Phil. So that's why I'm saying that.
There you go. I think you nailed it, and I think that I would go one step further. I think there's going to be a decision made by Devin that costs him the playoffs. I don't know if I don't know what it's going to be, but his team has a feeling with like the injury bugs lining up. This week's going to be a toss up. And then all of a sudden, let's say he's at, 3-3. Then like he makes one decision that goes the other way. And let's say Richardson just kind of doesn't materialize. I don't know. It's a weird lineup year for the Dolphins, and they're in that like unstartable, undroppable range, and that's a horrible feeling when you have to make moves every single week. And so I don't know. It feels like if he traded away someone like Achan and picked up someone with a little more upside, I don't know. I think you don't handcuff yourself to a team that's kind of a sinking ship right now because
Yep.
without Tua, they're nothing. And who knows what Tua is going to be when and if he comes back.
It's a tough situation. I don't know. That's my gut is that one of these two teams won't be there at the end because they just have a lot of injured players, and that usually doesn't last. With buys and injured players, it's hard to keep your team going.
It's true. Love it with the Frank Jr. as the icon still.
Because he was Fernando or Bong last year, and he hasn't changed his icon. Just cock meat sandwich time.
That's fine. It
Yeah,
plays.
there you go.
All right. Any last thoughts or any last questions or any last reminders?
Just the trade deadline for first and second round picks is this Sunday. So make your picks if you make your trades if you want to do that. Otherwise, just keep doing, just keep trucking on.
Keep fucking shit up. I can tell
keep
you
trucking.
there's no other league I care more about than this league. And that doesn't seem like it's going anywhere. I know that like I tell my friends about it and they're like, holy shit, that's so much money. Holy shit, that sounds so cool. I'm like, yeah, it is. Because we all stay connected and it's just fucking awesome. So
The greatest league ever.
yeah,
There you go.
obviously both of these people on the screen are well open for business when it comes to the trade market. But other than that,
Yeah.
just keep setting your lineups.
Love you guys. All right, buddy.
Love you, buddies.
All right.